congratulations, it's positive.
Antenatal care usually starts off with visits every 4 weeks, then fortnightly, then weekly. At one of the early appointments, blood will usually be taken for a series of tests. These include assessing whether you are immune to German measles, which could harm your baby if you caught it during pregnancy. Other tests include checking that you are not anemic and have no sexually transmitted diseases.
But today what we're going to be doing is really going
Some city hospitals are offering all pregnant women an HIV test. You can request an HIV test or refuse one. You should receive information and counselling before deciding whether or not to have the test.
For another 6 weeks or so, yeah. That's really, after you've seen the midwife today, you'll be coming to see us probably every month. Yeah. Getting on to every 2 weeks as you get further on in the pregnancy, and eventually every week. And what we'll do is we'll just check everything's okay, answer any questions that you have, and do a few sets of routine tests. Alright.
Okay. Routine checks are carried out during each antenatal visit. Your blood pressure is recorded and your urine tested. The midwife or doctor who's providing your care will want to hear from you how you've been feeling. She or he will let you know how the baby is growing and let you hear the heartbeat when it becomes audible. It's very important that you keep your antenatal appointments. One condition doctors and midwives will look out for is preeclampsia. This is a condition that affects the liver, kidneys and circulation and can lead to serious complications for mother and baby if it's not detected. And this is why doctors and midwives are constantly monitoring your blood pressure and testing your urine.
And come back and ask us at any time. You'll be seeing plenty of us in the next few months.
Many women find themselves worrying a lot about the tests that are available during pregnancy. Being given information which helps women to understand what the tests are for and when the results will come may help reduce the stress. A leaflet should be available and there should be plenty of time for discussion. It can help to write down any questions you may have in advance. Remember, the choice is yours. You can say no if you decide a test is not right for you. It's easy to forget that tests aren't compulsory. You could decide to have some tests and not others.
Screening and tests can pick up problems such as Down syndrome and spina bifida, but are unable to affect the outcome. What they can do is give time for you, your partner and the medical team to discuss your options. Even if you would never consider termination, you may decide it's better to be prepared for what could lie ahead. Now you can take some control over getting the results of tests. For instance, you might be told you won't hear anything unless something's wrong, but you might decide you want to know either way. Above all, if there's anything you don't understand, ask.
Most women will be offered an ultrasound scan and some will be offered more than one. Scans are used to confirm the baby's development and produce an image formed by an echo sounding device. For scans in early and mid-pregnancy, you'll need to have a full bladder. You can get very uncomfortable waiting for your appointment, and some women get so desperate they have to go to the loo and start all over again. The doctor or sonographer puts some jelly on your abdomen to enable the transducer to make contact. The transducer is moved across your abdomen, and the baby's image is produced on a screen.
My scan was the most amazing experience because my initial scan was before I'd felt any movement as such. So it's the stage where you know you're pregnant, there's something growing inside you, but you've got no proof. And it's not until you see on a screen in front of you first-hand evidence, wow, that's in me, and it's the most amazing sensation. It's like, I really am going to be a mum. This is really happening. My boyfriend was in there with me too. I mean, we both of us were like staring at this screen in complete amazement. It was just wonderful. We're like, wow, we made that.
At about 16 weeks, you may be offered the AFP test. This measures the level of a substance called alpha-fetoprotein in the mother's blood. AFP can be used as a marker for conditions such as spina bifida, but is only an indicator. The test involves taking a sample of your blood in the same way as an ordinary blood test when you're between 16 and 18 weeks pregnant. The result takes about a week to come back. If the results are outside the normal range, the test is often repeated, and you may need to go on for further investigation. The important thing to remember is that most women with abnormal AFP results have perfectly normal babies.
Not all hospitals offer the AFP test, as some ultrasound scans can now pick up defects such as spina bifida. There is a similar screening test, which is a better predictor, called the triple test. In addition to alpha-fetoprotein, it measures 2 hormones. The test can be done between 15 and 22 weeks of pregnancy, but 16 weeks is the ideal time to screen for spina bifida. A sample of blood is taken and sent away to be analysed. The result, which takes about a week, appears as a screen positive or screen negative, and is also expressed as a probability, for example 1 in 300.
If you get a positive result on either the AFP or the triple test, you will probably be offered an amniocentesis. Unlike the screening test, amniocentesis is a diagnostic test. The results give accurate information rather than simply the chance or probability of a condition affecting your baby. Whilst this test provides useful information, it also increases the risk of miscarriage slightly. Amniocentesis can detect Downs and other rare chromosomal abnormalities as well as spina bifida. Because it involves examination of the chromosomes, the sex of the baby is discovered too. You may like to find out, but if you would prefer not to be told, make sure you say so.
In an amniocentesis, some of the fluid from the amniotic sac in which the baby floats is removed by syringe through your abdominal wall. The procedure is uncomfortable, but for most women it's more unpleasant than painful. It can be rather worrying to see the needle so near your baby, and an ultrasound scan is done at the same time to keep it away from the baby and the placenta. Unfortunately, the results can take a long time, up to 3 weeks, which can be a very stressful time for you and your partner.
I had a very blasé attitude towards it, and I just said, well, whatever there is, do them. You know, I'd rather know than be in the dark. And I didn't feel nervous about the results at all. I mean, the one that I was a bit funny about was the HIV test. I had sort of, you know, yes, should I not?
I think my midwife was really good because she was trying to find out how I'd feel if this happened, if that happened. And she talked a lot about hypothetical situations, so that I had to think about them. And she gave me time to come back before the test. So by the time I came round to having the blood test, I'd sort of been through everything and I'd thought everything out, and I thought, no, go ahead, whatever will be. Everything came back clear, and it wouldn't have mattered either way.
The waiting and the pressure. Firstly, should we have this test? Should we not have this test? Then deciding that we wouldn't have the test, and then wondering whether we'd made the right decision.
What would you have done with the results anyway, sort of thing?
Yes, that's right.
But then I was told, you will come in on such and such a date, we will take blood for such and such. They didn't even tell me for what reason. And sort of going with emotions, you sort of don't argue. And I sat back and I thought about it. Now I have a phobia of needles. I'm not going to volunteer my arm unnecessarily. If it's concerning the baby and that kind of thing, well, that's a different thing. I turned around and I said, no, I don't want it. But that was only because I'd stood up and said no, and bothered to ask somebody.
Screening techniques keep changing, and if you're having or are considering having one of these tests, you're entitled to the best information available at the time. Talk to your doctor and midwife.
Some people are concerned that they may not get on with the staff caring for them in labour. Confidence can be further eroded by the atmosphere in some hospitals, surgeries and antenatal clinics. There are some simple pointers to help you communicate well with the people involved in your care.
Several simple things will help you to feel more in control. If you're nervous, why not take a partner or a friend along with you? If you enter the room and feel the doctor has not acknowledged your presence, you can wait until he or she looks up and say, "Good morning, Dr. Porter." Remember, you're a person, not a patient. If you have your clothes on and are not lying flat on your back, it is easier to take part in discussions. Another trick is to bring along a list of questions, and you can write down the answers, but please put your most important question at the top. It's also important to find out the various choices open to you through your pregnancy and birth, so you can work out your own preferences and what you will think will suit you best. You can put any questions you have to different people and compare the answers. There always will be different approaches, but you are entitled to do so.